Bringing to the conversation, Democratic Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, to respond to what you heard right there. Mayor Johnson, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it. I don't have to tell you about the generations-old problem of gun violence on the streets of Chicago. You are making some headway there just in the last couple of years. But what is your response to President Trump as he floats the idea of sending the National Guard into Chicago?
Well, good morning. First of all, a military occupation of the city of Chicago would not only be illegal, but unconstitutional and costly. The city of Chicago is not requesting that federal troops come and occupy our city. In fact, I have not heard any mayor across this country call for American troops to come and occupy our cities. Look, we're working hard every single day to drive violence down in the city of Chicago. Since I've been in office, there's been a precipitous decline in violent crime in every single category. Just this year alone, we have a 32% reduction in homicides, almost 40% reduction in shootings and shooting victims. Robberies are down nearly 35%. Carjackings are down nearly 50%. We're moving in the right direction because we're making critical investments. If this president was actually serious about driving violence down in the city of Chicago and American cities across this country, he would work with mayors to make sure that we have the necessary investments to continue to do the work that we have been doing.
Well, you've led me to my next question, Mr. Mayor.
So, first of all, this dude is a fucking clown. He is a clown. What the fuck does investments have to do with this particular crime rate? We do know the root of the problem. We already know that. So we're not going to even go down that rabbit hole. But what you have to do is just simple. Arrest the criminals, prosecute the criminals, and make it punitive. Punitive means there's some type of damage that is done when you do certain crime. Investments, fuck investments. You've invested forever. You're still investing. Money, Democrats forever, just throw money at the shit. Invest. You know why Democrats want to throw money at the shit? It's because they make out on the back end when they throw money at it. Invest. No. That's why every time some type of Democrat, such as this clown, Brandon Johnson, with this faux hawk, the dude, like, bro, you in your late 40s, bro. Get rid of this fucking mohawk. Your beard is as gray as mine. We know when it's time to let go. You got the shit shaved on the side, and then you got this, whatever the fuck this is, up top. Bro, let this shit go. Let it go, but you do look like a deer in the headlights. Like most of the time. Talk about invest. You got 250 something murders as of August 2025 in Chicago, but the solution is not to arrest criminals. The solution is to invest. I mean, that's basically what this fucking clown is saying.
Is, if not for these troops coming into Chicago, what would a productive relationship with the Trump administration look like? If they were serious about fighting crime in the streets of Chicago, what could they offer you that would be helpful?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. First of all, he could start by restoring the over $800 million that was taken away from violence prevention efforts back in April.
What did he just say? Restore the over $800 million. So give us more money. All right. Okay.
Look, when I first became mayor of the city of Chicago, I made multiple requests to the previous administration to invest in violence prevention. That request remains. But these are also requests that I know that are being made in Baltimore by Brandon Scott, who's doing an incredible job. Barbara Lee in Oakland, who's doing an amazing job. Karen Bass in Los Angeles. Many mayors across this country. Randall Woodfin in Birmingham, Alabama. You are seeing declines that we have not seen in a generation. In fact,
everybody he just mentioned, their cities are shitholes. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Looking at Los Angeles is a fucking shithole. It is a shithole. Homelessness all over the place. Homicides all over the place. Baltimore. Their homicides are down. Their homicides are down, but who is gonna tell me that Baltimore is not a shithole? Birmingham, Alabama. I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for Birmingham, Alabama, but it's just like most of the rest of these cities. It's a fucking shithole. Homicides are up. Homelessness is all over the place. Every place that this guy just spoke of are fucking shitholes. And they're mostly led by Black Democratic leaders, which they shouldn't even be called leaders because they just lead you to the fucking toilet. This is what they do. That's just what they do. And you're not making a good case for yourself. Faux hawk dude.
Just the month of April this year, 2025, it was the safest April since 1962. Our work is working. This president and the federal government has a responsibility to ensure that cities have the resources that they need in order to continue to drive violence down across this country.
And what programs would you want funded? What specifically do you consider to be violence prevention programs?
$800 million be used for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have been working with community violence intervention workers, or CVI. These are community-led organizations that are spending time on the ground in the neighborhoods, working to squash conflict, to prevent retaliation from occurring. Look, I live on the west side of Chicago. It's the Austin neighborhood, one of the most dynamic communities in the entire city, but it has been mired in disinvestment. I'm likely the first mayor in the history of Chicago to wake up in one of the most difficult, challenging communities. And that's why not only are we investing in CVI or community violence intervention workers, we're also investing in youth employment.
Keep putting money into shit that's failing. It's failing. Keep talking about investing. Go ahead. Oh my goodness.
This summer alone, we hired 31,119 young people. And in the neighborhoods where youth employment was the highest, we saw the most significant decline in violence. He also can help support mental and behavioral health care services. I've reopened the 3 mental health clinics. We've expanded mental health crises workers all over the city so that when mental health crises occurs, a police officer doesn't have to show up to that scene. But we have a trained professional to be able to address these crises. The other thing that he can...
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? So when someone calls 911, a police won't show up. A mental health crises person's gonna show up to try to diffuse the situation. There's a reason why the person called 911. There's a reason. They don't expect some mental health crisis person to show up. They expect the police to show up too. And this guy is in charge of one of the biggest, one of the potentially best cities in this country, if not the world. But he's in charge. He's in charge of this. He gotta go. Get the fuck out of the way and let capitalism do what it does. Let capitalism do what it does. Capitalism thrives when the crime is low. When the crime is low. But you want a mental health counselor to show up when this dude just beat the shit out of his live-in girlfriend as opposed to the police? That's what you want?
Can help us with is the federal government can help us with. I've revamped the entire detectives bureau within the city of Chicago, and now we have a clearance rate almost 77%. One of the deterrents of crime is to actually solve it, to bring closure, to bring justice. These are just a few examples that I know mayors across the country are calling for. This president in the federal government has literally declared war on poor people. I remember a time when presidents declared war on poverty. The federal government has a moral responsibility to do unto the least of these. And that's what we're doing in the city of Chicago.
So let me ask you, Mr. Mayor, those all sound like great programs. I'm curious, would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good.
This guy don't like police. Which, okay, I understand that. But the question that he asked him, would police help? Yes, police would help. Let's continue to watch this interaction.
And important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
He's asking him a simple question. Would more police on the street bring crime down? And he's going all around the world, same song. Digital Underground. This is what he's doing.
Chicago.
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing.
Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to see this guy. I want to see him face to face. I don't want to punch him. I don't want to punch him. I don't want to do anything like that. What I would want to do is just walk/run real fast into him and just move him out of the way to let him know you are delusional. You are demented. The solution is pretty fucking simple. Arrest the criminals, prosecute the criminals, make it punitive, They gotta do time for what they do. What the fuck are you talking about? Affordable housing and this, that, and the other. You have more than enough affordable housing in the city of Chicago. One of my favorite cities. I know it well. This motherfucker is obfuscating just a simple question. It's a direct question. And credit to Joe Scarborough, because he says he's a Republican, but I give kudos to him for pressing him on this particular issue.
Look,
okay,
I'm not
that's
saying that
that's
we
not
don't.
the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no. Do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful?
They don't have a history of being successful, but I understand what Joe is doing.
If that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago.
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important.
They are important. They don't work, but I get what Joe doing. Follow what Joe doing. Just answer the 5,000 cops question, bruh. That's all he wants you to do. Just answer that.
I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing and youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our Detectives Bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago, when we solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that we're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago. We've seen these coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF.
How is getting guns off the street gonna fucking solve anything? Do you not understand that people that commit crimes are criminals, which means they don't adhere to laws? Dummy. Sometimes I'm just like, these people can't be serious. They can't be serious, because you can have 1 million guns just laying on the ground. The guns don't matter. They really don't. Until a person picks up the gun and do whatever they're gonna do with the gun. The gun don't matter. The gun is just, to me, the gun is the same as a butter knife or a fork, or, I mean, I don't know, some inanimate object. A gun is the same as a fucking fly swatter. A gun is the same as just some wooden plank that may be in your yard from some previous construction. A gun is nothing. A gun means absolutely nothing until a human picks it up and does whatever said human is going to do with it. So, why would it make sense to confiscate guns? Confiscate guns, you may as well confiscate forks, confiscate knives, confiscate spoons, confiscate sharp wooden objects, confiscate shoes, because if you have shoes on, you can stomp someone into submission or maybe perhaps death. I mean, why stop at guns? If an inanimate object such as guns, if just a gun is plastic, it's metal, if that shit is weird. As I talk through these things, the gun is the problem. That shit sounds ridiculous. The gun. That's the problem. Not the person using the gun, but the actual gun. Get the gun off the street. Not the person using the gun. Because once you get the person using the gun, so just scenario. See this person, he has the gun. The police arrest this person. He drops the gun, he leaves the gun on the ground. The gun is there forever, in perpetuity. Unless, how about this? The laws are as such where that person is gonna get out in 2-3 hours, and he's gonna go back and pick up that gun. Geez, mother. These, oh my gosh, they know what it is.
Working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an
I can't believe that he thinks guns are the problem. He's an educated man. I can't believe he really thinks that the actual gun is the problem. I'm gonna be like when I watch a movie, I'm going to be in a suspension of disbelief. He can't think the gun is the problem.
Absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors. What I'm simply saying is, if we're going to build safe and affordable cities across America, the one thing that safe communities all have in common, they invest in people. We have a poverty issue in the city of Chicago and cities across America. Police officers alone.
All right, I'm done with this. Because I really, if I can fight this guy to get him to understand most of what he's saying is just what's been fed to him. Most of what he's saying makes no fucking sense at all. You don't throw money at the problem. You've done that. You're still trying to do that, and I know why you're doing it. I was about to go into some shit like he's a dummy. He is a Democratic dummy. I'm gonna end this right here because I'm about to go. I'm gonna have to do a whole video on why he's a dummy. Like the video, comment on the video, dislike the video, share the video. You can also go over to YouTube. We got some other things going on over there. It's Mr. Info 5000. Peace.